Okay, YouTube, so Paul Bates here, and I'm going to do one of my WW3 videos here. Are we a world at war? Well, we got a president that declares we are. So here's a little interview, a little clip of him saying that he's a president.
Horrible, invisible enemy. We're at war. In a true sense, we're at war. And we're fighting an invisible enemy. Think of that.
Of war here. And then I watched an interesting interview. I'm going to share a couple minutes of it with you here.
Because I'm Christian at heart and I like to think that nobody would want to kill people. I will say this much, and if you're listening, write it down. In late November, word had already gotten off of the mainland that there was a virus in Wuhan. On January the 15th, the U.S. trade bill was signed, phase one. December the 15th. I had a whole month off, December the 15th. 6 weeks later, the trade truce was signed with an out clause, a very clever out clause that the Chinese made sure was in there, that said if there was any kind of act of God, pandemic, then they didn't have to make good on what they had committed to buy from the United States. Within days, they announced the first coronavirus. So, did the Chinese know damn well that this thing was running around the world for 6 weeks before they shut down Wuhan? Yes, they did. Is that criminal? Yes, it is. Does it deserve to go in front of a world tribunal? Yes, it does. Because we know that it was the unfettered travel that made this thing a global phenomenon that was impossible to contain. 6 weeks they knew, but they wanted that out clause. And then they underreported what happened in Wuhan, which a toddler could tell you based on what happened in Italy, based on what's happened in Germany and in France and now in the UK with Boris Johnson in the ICU. There's no way in a city the size of New York, 11 million people, that there were so few cases. It's impossible with similar density to New York. So the World Health Organization should be held accountable for not holding China accountable to providing good, valid data so that the rest of the world could prepare for fewer people to die. And that's what you're talking about. To me, these are equivalents to acts of war on the part of China. And then...
and it's the CEO talking about what China did and how they're using the COVID-19 as basically a weapon of mass destruction. I think when we see the history books from now, in 10, 20, 30 years from now, COVID-19 will go down as one of the, just the ultimate weapon of war. As we've fought these wars over the years, it's just, we started out throwing stones at each other. Then, we evolved to the bow and arrow. And then we went to gunpowder and, threw cannons at each other. And then, it just kept evolving and evolving. Well, where do you think it evolves now? What else can we do as a world? You can only... anybody that goes up against the U.S. knows that they're going to be just devastated. I mean, we've got nuclears and airplanes and submarines and ships and everything that'll just annihilate a country in a split second. They know that. I mean, why would you want to? I mean, it's suicide. That's what it is. But to shut down a global economy, oh my God, that's just unbelievable. And then I wouldn't be surprised here to see the Chinese come in and say, oh, we can save the world, buy our products. Yeah, and then they get all this debt-free money, because as you pull in, there's this guy who talks about Simon Dixon. I'll share one of the links of one of his videos here, but he shares how the money comes into the countries. And, if you're an exporter of goods, you can get debt-free money from that, and that's what China does. That's why they manipulate their currency. That's why they want you buying their goods, and they know what this war is all about, and they're fighting it dirty, very dirty. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed the interview there with that lady, and then I'll share the link with you here. But it's just unbelievable the devastation of this war and what's going to happen here. And in the video, at the end here, I just want to talk about real quick about what you can do, what you need to start doing to prepare. I mean, everybody, you can say, hey, let's go buy guns and ammo and stuff like that, but you you might be right, you know, if this thing goes Mad Max or something, but it's not going to go there. We're too civilized as a country and as a world where it's just not going to go there. Where it's going to go, though, is financial just destruction. I mean, you guys got to imagine that the U.S. right now is $24 trillion in debt. I mean, that's an astronomical number. I mean, if you take a second and count to a trillion, it takes 32,000 years to count to 1 trillion every second. And so when you think about that number, and we're $24 trillion in debt, this is a war of debt. And it's modern day slavery. It's like we're all slaves to this debt, and the best way to get out of it, and you can use this war as an opportunity to get out of the debt that you're in. But you've got to remember, if you just get right back into it, you're right back into the war. You're right back into the battle. If you don't want to fight the battle, and you just want to be free from it all, the best way to be is debt free. I mean, it just is. If you have nothing to worry about right now. Can you imagine? It doesn't even really matter if you're sitting on cash or no cash or gold or silver or bullets or anything. If you don't have any debt right now, you don't have anything to worry about. But the people right now that don't have jobs, they can't do anything. They're locked into their houses. I mean, I can't even imagine what the emotions that you're going through right now. It's just, if you have nothing. We built the society. I mean, it's just crazy. It's not crazy. It's just, it is life. It's what we did. It's somehow we got off the gold standard in 1971, and we tried this experiment, and it didn't work. I can tell you guys that right now, it didn't work. And here we are, 2020. I mean, this is it. This is the year. That's what makes Bitcoin such a powerful, powerful, powerful weapon against what's going on right now. And Bitcoin in itself is just so pure. The guys that came up with it, it may not be the best crypto out there, it may not be the best blockchain technology, but it was also done, it was one of the first ones, and it was done so innocently and so purely that it was designed for what's going on right now. And it's a good way to hide out from this war. And it's probably going to go down because the U.S. government, they don't want you buying Bitcoin. They don't want you buying any of these digital assets because they want you to stay into their digital asset, which is coming super, super soon. I mean, we're going to see that. That's going to be it might be 3 years from now because it can't just happen overnight. But it's going to, in retrospect, that's a pretty fast period of time. But this war is going to, it's going to come down to it. And it'll be tricky because these countries, they all have to monopolize around how they're going to integrate with this new digital currency that's going to come out. But it's coming. We'll see it, definitely. Anyway, I'll share it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit like, hit subscribe, share it with your friends, hit that bell. We'll keep them coming out. And, it's going to be an interesting, I don't think it's going to be a super long war in history, 3 years isn't that long, but we'll know in 3 years what's going to happen. That's for sure. I can tell you that. Anyway, Paul Bates, peace out. Love you guys, and be safe out there. That's all I can tell you. And enjoy your family right now, and just live. Live. That's my best advice for you right now. Just live the best day you can, and go to bed every night with no regrets. Anyway, love you guys. Peace out.